I slept for 4 hours today
Did you really?
after work.
What was your shift?
Like
Something to
nine
noon?
to 9 to 2.
9 to 2? Okay.
But I had a dream. I woke up. Oh my! Did I have a dream, dude?
Is it not safe for podcast dream, or can you indulge us?
It involves a person that we
Okay.
graduated with, but it was something that. Well, I don't think he graduated. It's kind of funny.
I think it sounds all right. Okay. I think we're doing good here. Welcome back, Project Ion, episode 14 and a half.
Part deuce.
Part 2. Got Andy Spurgeon with us. Hey, Andy.
Oh, hey guys.
We got Tay back as well. Hey, Tay.
What's up?
Okay, we'll run through our stuff here. This is a Project Ion podcast, episode 14.5. What's the date today? February 9th, 2019. We're live from Northwest Iowa.
2-9.
Appearing in spirit, tonight's episode are the other hosts, Mr. Kyle Grems. Hi, Kyle, if you're watching. Yep, I see him.
Is he watching?
Yeah. Gerald Greenberg's in the chat,
Ooh.
stealing my alias. And then our other host, Kevin Grems, had a previous engagement this evening and could not attend. We can be found online at projectionpodcast.home.blog. We're also on iTunes. Search for us, Project Ion Podcast. All episodes are now current, except for maybe our 30-minute episode 14. We're also obviously on YouTube. Currently 29 subs. So, looking for that 30th sub.
Who could it be?
Who could it be? Yeah. This is
Taylor?
it's a golden
I'm
opportunity.
subbed.
Oh, are you?
Trevor. I'll bet
Okay.
Trevor's not subbed.
All right. Trev, you might be our guy. You can email us at projectionpodcast@gmail.com. We take questions, comments, or if you'd like to be a guest, hit us up. Okay. So I was hoping we could maybe play a game today,
Ooh,
boys.
I want to play a game with you.
This game is called, here's my idea. So I picked out a couple of news stories that are relatively under the radar. You may have heard them.
Cool.
But there was big reaction to each one of these news stories. So the first thing I want to know is whether or not you guys think these news stories were, like, the reaction was justified or not.
Okay.
And then the other thing is...
So you're going to tell story and what the kind of overarching reaction was?
So, yeah, my plan is to talk about the story, and we'll kind of go over the facts a little bit, and then the reaction.
Okay.
And then after we've had all three of them, then tell me, put them in order, like, what do you think was the most justified to the least justified or something like that.
Okay.
So basically, we're getting 3 stories out of Florida, would be my guess.
I don't know. They're kind of all over the place.
Florida's always where the crazy
Speaking
stuff
of all over
happens.
the place, this dream last night. So
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I went to bed. I went to bed in pretty good time. I woke myself up at 2 a.m. because I was having this dream that was incredibly long that just messed with me, my head. Like, I had to stay up an hour and a half so I could be sure I wouldn't continue the dream. And, like, I was okay with going back to sleep because it tweaked with me so bad. So I was living above the drugstore. Alan's got those apartments upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
That was where I was living, apparently. But where the coffee shop is, there were arcade games outside. And it was a beach. And so I was playing arcade game, hopped over my head, and landed on my game. And it made me very upset. So I went trouncing up. There's these old wooden steps that are rickety as hell that I don't know how Alan's insurance company lets him keep because he doesn't shovel them. Like, if someone even was messing around on them, they could die. But I went trouncing up those into my apartment, and my roommate was someone that we went to school with, Robbie Bingen. Okay.
Okay.
Still with me?
Yep.
So I walk in, and Bingen's in the kitchen doing something with his back to me. Can't see him. Pretty wide open floor plan, and I look over on the side of the kitchen, and there's a pygmy. So not a midget, like just a pygmy. Just a little weird little person.
Right.
in a like muzzle type thing and a leash, eating out of a bowl like a pig, and making piggy noises.
Weird.
And I said, what are you doing? Why are you eating? Because I likes being a piggy. Wink, wink, wink. And so got a real weird, like, Insane Clown Posse vibe off that. And then Megan turns around and goes, I'm in trouble. I said, oh? What's up? Like, what's going on? We're in trouble. And we walked over to where the bathroom was down a hallway. I looked in, and there was another roommate who looked familiar, but I can't remember her name. Knew the person, but who was handcuffed to the ceiling and was half shaved. Like their head was shaved, and they had like back hair and had a big shaving back. And then I just hear, we're all in trouble. And I felt a knife into my back. Yeah, dude. Yeah, so I woke up and I made myself popcorn.
Yeah.
And so
I don't
I
blame
sat
ya.
in my chair for an hour and a half because I was so like
And this was this afternoon. You had all this
disturbed.
dream.
No, this was last
Last
evening.
night?
That's why I needed the 3 to 4 hour
Gotcha.
nap in the
Yeah.
middle of the day.
I honestly don't know the last time I remembered more than 30 seconds of a dream.
Dude,
That was intense.
I've taken to dream journaling now because I do have such vivid and they're like long dreams. And so I'll wake up and like first thing I'll text myself a big long explanation of it because if I don't, it's gone within 5 minutes. Like I have to do it right when I wake up.
Right.
And it's interesting. There's no patterns. There's nothing like significant or meaning. Like where the hell does Robbie Bingen come from?
Yeah, right. Just random stuff from
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
name I haven't heard in a long
brain that
time.
gets.
I got him on the Facebook.
All right. Well, do you guys want to play the game?
Let's play
here?
this game.
Yes,
All
let's
right.
play the
I'm
game.
ready.
So,
Man.
did you guys hear the Liam Neeson story?
No. So you had mentioned something, but like I didn't look into it at all because I kind of wanted to react here.
Yeah.
So-
Let's see if this is the right page.
This is the Taken dude, right?
Yes.
Yep. So, basically, the gist of this was that, we all know Liam Neeson, actor, and he was doing junkets or something, like the press rapid interview thing where
Oh,
they just
sure.
have one person after another coming in
Yep.
for the interviews, promo on his new movie, and I think it's one of these cookie cutter,
Taken-esque.
Taken-esque type movies. So
He's a super badass.
yeah,
and-
and he started getting real candid for whatever reason, and he was talking about how he can relate to the bloodthirst, revenge type mindset, and then he goes into this anecdote from either the late 70s or early 1980s where essentially his friend was raped allegedly by a black guy, so he was really pissed off about it when his friend told him.
Okay.
And then so he was walking around Dublin or wherever
Looking for
any old black guy was what his story was. He was like, so yeah, I was so wrapped up in my rage and everything that I was looking for walking around hoping somebody would start in with me, hoping a black guy unrelated would start in with me so I could beat him up or kill him. That was basically his, but that was the context. Was he was talking about how he could get into the mindset.
Sure.
And he was talking about that's how he felt in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, this was- this took place-
after his friend told him this story, that was kind of the time.
Yeah,
era.
and then he
Okay.
goes on to explain how ashamed he was, and he recognized that this was really foolish behavior, and
Sure.
right, and all of that. And he was, but the key fact is that nothing happened. He didn't
Right.
actually attack
Right.
anybody. So then the reaction to it was, of course, a lot of Twitter,
Mhm.
and have you guys heard of canceled culture before, where if somebody does something that's people find outrageous, they'll say so and so is canceled.
The Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it'll
Mhm.
be.
Sure. Sure.
It's sort of a Twitter thing,
Okay.
but I don't know.
Man,
This article doesn't have one of the tweets in it.
I don't know. I
I'm
feel like
sorry.
I should Twitter.
yeah, here we go.
Reaction.
Yeah, read it to us, Spurge. Can you see it?
Yeah, but my immediate reaction was I asked, did she know who it was? No? What color were they? She said it was a black person. Not how old were they? How tall were they? You just asked what color they were. I don't care how sorry you are, Liam Neeson. That is disgusting. I mean, but it's an identifying characteristic.
Agreed.
And I can't, like, I don't know. If I'm a rape victim, I don't size them up. Like, you don't have one of those convenience store rulers next to the door that's like, oh, 6'2", boom.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I guess I can't speak for what all the criticism is on this, but I think he's getting accused of being racist,
Correct.
other stuff, bigoted, that sort of thing.
Well, and then bigoted, right?
As a result, yeah. But, I mean, like, the key fact is that nothing happened. And then the other thing is that it was so long ago.
Right. That's what I'm going through my head, right? So you're talking about a time that was probably almost 40 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
In Iowa.
Yeah.
Okay. Not sure, how their economy was and such at the points. Obviously a place of a lot of turmoil in the past. I'm not sure how old Liam Neeson is, but
he's in his 60s.
Okay, so maybe this puts him in his late 20s.
He's looking good in his 60s.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're talking about something that happened a very long time ago. I mean, I know if I started talking about stuff in my teen years, even 15 years ago, I probably did some stupid things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all he was doing was relating. All I have to do is think about this action, and this is how I get into character. That's basically what I hear him portraying,
right,
from what you're saying. And I'm guessing he just offended a ton of people doing so for something that occurred 40 years ago. I don't.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think of the general, like the Twitter outrage mob? I mean, what do you guys think of that?
People just love to get pissy anymore.
That's how I'm going to stand by it.
And I think they've always loved it, but Twitter's just made them able to become like something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because who's that girl? Who knows? Like, maybe she has followers on Twitter. Maybe she doesn't and just wrote a representative tweet that they just picked. She could just be some random person. Probably is some random person.
I think it also kind of goes back to if you can't put a face to them, right? So this is kind of a whole thing with the internet and social media. If I don't have to face them, I can say whatever I want. I can voice my opinion. Now,
keyboard warrior.
Exactly. Now, I stand by social media and the fact that we can share opinions with the world and such and things like that. But on the other side of the coin, it also leads to a lot of trolling.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are just assholes, and they use online Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it may be, to push their ideals and how they feel on other people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I look at social media and I say take everything with a grain of salt, because people are going to be more. You kind of get the two sides of it. So you're going to be more open and honest. So you either really feel that way, or you're just saying you feel that way, to stir up trouble.
Right.
Whereas if we were sitting here having a face-to-face conversation, you probably wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the anonymity coming at you. I love those.
Thanks.
Those are
yeah,
awesome.
It's pretty bright. Actually, like the light in the background behind my head is really bright in my face. So
usually only put those on when we're talking conspiracy.
Yeah, these are my conspircy glasses, but for whatever reason, the light's giving me a headache today.
He looks like he's in a dungeon.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Bunker.
So, kind of, what's your overall take on is this Liam Neeson thing? Let's say, is the reaction justified on that one, or?
See, I don't think so. A, he didn't do anything about it. B, he's saying today he's not running from it. He's saying it happened, and he's saying like, this was wrong. I thought this way, and now I don't think that way.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm on his side on this.
I would agree. I mean, like I said, it seems like this is just something that happened in his life,
right?
That he takes real world experience from, about how he feels in his Taken movies or whatever it may be. You know, wanting to go hunt somebody down.
And and at that point, yeah, exactly. Like Tay said, getting in that mindset, it's not that he wants to go hunt black people. It's that he understands the feeling of, oh, I want to have vengeance on somebody.
Right. And he says in there, that's I was wrong.
Yes,
basically, you know.
correct.
So I would say when you look at the Twitter outburst that happened, it's just people either A, wanting their 15 minutes of fame, or people just being assholes, because
Yeah.
people can
are
be assholes.
Yeah, I mean, my take, I had a couple of thoughts on this one. So, I mean, I think it gets to be dangerous territory when you want to hold people accountable for stuff that they thought.
Right.
Correct.
You know, thought crime, as far as I know, is not on the statutes anywhere.
It's not a
And-
Keanu Reeves movie.
Yeah, right.
What was
So-
that called?
I don't, yeah, whatever. I'm
Mm.
not sure what you're getting at, but
Tay knows.
Can't think of it, but
So-
yeah, you know.
thought crime's bad enough.
Minority Report.
But then
I wasn't Keanu Reeves, I was Tom Cruise.
it's even
Yeah.
worse when there's no statute of limitations on a thought crime.
Right.
I mean, a thought crime from 35 to 40 years ago, that seems a little bit over the top.
Right.
Yeah.
We're getting into kind of Orwellian, scary territory.
Yeah.
I think.
Right.
Yeah, you know.
And
so-
complete
Right.
thought. Like
Mhm.
no action.
No, that was a good example. Minority Report. I would agree with that, right? So, you know, the whole premise of that movie is they predict what somebody's going to do,
Mhm.
and then they just get prosecuted due to what the thought was and whether they would follow through with it.
Right.
So, like, I mean, I got to stand by Liam here and just go back to he didn't do anything about it. He's literally just talking about how he gets into character. You know, he's just being candid about that. I'm sure there are a bunch of other Hollywood people who do the same thing. And if he wasn't in Hollywood, this wouldn't have made the news. You know?
Right. I don't know who you are, but if you're a black guy walking around Ireland 35 to 40 years ago, you better watch out.
Right.
Because I've
Like,
obtained a special set of skills.
I have a very particular set of skills. Playing a social security tough guy on the movies.
Dude, he is RoboCop though. Like that dude in those movies.
yes.
I'll use those skills to not find you and not kill you.
The funny thing I always
But I'll
got
think about it.
was like, the hell, like, how does they keep getting taken? Like,
Right.
like,
It's the same movie.
people need to stop taking that guy's stuff.
Just give up, everybody. Liam Neeson and his ilk are
Right.
just
Off
off
limits.
limits. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's easy enough.
Okay.
Easy enough.
All right. So we'll move on to the next one here. I think
I just
we
realized I'm super repping the Chiefs tonight.
beat that dead horse. Okay.
Napkins some passengers call
Let me
creepy.
switch to the display. Yeah, this is a good one. So this story, Coca-Cola had these napkins, and they used them on this Delta Airlines flight. So, okay, the idea was they're supposed to be cutesy here. You can see the picture. You know, give space for your name and your phone number, and you're on a plane full of interesting people.
Right.
And the idea was to encourage you to jot your name down and your number and give it to somebody. And we had another Twitter outrage mob on this one. Mike J says, seem unintentionally creepy after reading the smaller print. Swing and a miss, Diet Coke.
What's the finer print?
Yeah, I can't.
The
read
finer
that.
print.
See it on the side.
Can you
there.
see it on that one?
I think it was. Let's see.
Yeah.
It's it basically the gist of it just says, you know, write down your name and number and give it to your airplane crush because you never know.
Okay. Remove these napkins because they're creepy. Time's up. Boycott Coke.
Boycott. A boycott over napkins.
My God,
Let's see what Brent says.
Brent. He's probably got a.
Oh, he said here's a dissenting opinion. I support your cute napkins. People always finding a way to be mad. Oh,
Happily.
it says it's a little old school. Write down your number and give it to your plane crush. You never know. ... So yeah, some people think it's funny,
So, God. Okay.
but some people clearly were
Super offended.
super offended.
All right. So here's the thing about this one. Might it be used? Absolutely. I would have actually liked to use this. There was this one lady I met one time. I can't tell you her name, but she has my address, my old Iowa City address and phone number, and has texted me before. And because we were talking about Game of Thrones, and she said, I have raven feathers. I'm like, ooh, really? She's like, I will send you a raven feather in the mail. Sure as shit, dude. 2.5 years later, my mail like got finally forwarded from Iowa City to Kansas City, and I got a raven feather in the mail. She was super nice, super interesting.
Yeah.
But and it's a napkin. If you don't want the napkin, you can throw it away.
Right.
Mhm.
You
I
can
mean,
leave it on the plane.
I'll give it the wording and such is a hair on the creepy factor.
Sure.
That being is I'm typically an introvert. I don't really like to meet new people if I don't have to. But on the other side, I know you, Spurge.
What
It's
about?
okay.
Can I interrupt you quick,
Yeah.
Tay? What about the wording was creepy? If you don't mind my asking.
I think it's the ellipses. To be honest with you,
So
You never know.
the
fine
hey,
print.
you never know.
okay.
I mean, I get okay. So anytime I've been on a plane, I usually talk to the person next to me, right? Because what else are you gonna do for the hour, 3 hours you're gonna be on the plane? And I've actually had some, I don't know, interesting conversations on the plane and such. You know, some of those people you probably want to stay in touch with. So I mean, I can see where Diet Coke is coming from here. As far as, you know, hey, to me that napkin says, hey, go out and meet somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, talk to somebody new, which I stand by. Being an introvert, I think you should meet new people. Excuse me. I'll give it a little bit creepy. I don't know why you would have to get rid of it though. Like Spurge said, like it's a napkin. Put your drink on it and then throw it away.
Right.
You know, would I call it marketing genius? No. Is it an interesting idea? Sure.
Well, and I think it goes with their whole like haven't their cans and stuff said share with and then a random name.
I mean, it's not like this is Tinder on napkins here.
No,
You know what I
it's
mean?
not at all.
Yeah.
There's no dick pics involved unless someone drew a little dick pic.
Right. That's what I would draw on my
Which
name.
would be
I'm just
hilarious.
So yeah. Maybe in defense of the critics here, I'm trying to imagine a set of facts. So let's say it's some 15-year-old girl or something who, because of biology, looks 25, and then thanks to these napkins, now she's got a bunch of 40-year-old guys sliming all over her with a bunch of unsolicited. But I mean, even under those facts,
she still gave it out. They wouldn't have it if she didn't give it out, right?
well,
You know what I mean? Like you're talking about a young girl who looks older than she is getting slammed on by old people, which certainly happens in the world.
I was going to say, which also happens.
Oh, you're talking they're handing it. Okay.
Right. I mean, that's how I took this to mean. You know, you'd see your plane crush,
yeah.
and then you write
it down.
my name's Jim Rosendahl. Here's my phone number, and you hand it to the person that you're attracted to on the airplane because you never know, right? Then the ball's in their court as to whether or not they want to call you.
Yeah, but I mean, is this really any different than like picking up a waitress and getting their phone number on the back of a receipt? You know?
Yeah.
Because this girl, if that's the case, she's not only getting slammed on in, like,
I would agree.
You know,
It's not just happening on the plane.
She's getting slammed on at her job. She's getting because that's the culture we
live
in.
But does the napkin encourage that? I guess is probably kind of what Jim's getting at. Does the napkin encourage that behavior?
Yeah.
So maybe there's a set of facts where it would be a little bit. You'd wish that they hadn't done that.
I still think you would need a set of cojones to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you weren't brave enough to go up there and talk to them in the first place, why do you think dropping off a napkin with your name and phone number on it is going to do any better? Like, here you go. Yeah, exactly. You know, so I think you still got to have a little bit of courage there. I don't know. I don't think it's marketing genius. Should they be pulled? I don't know. I mean,
if they want them out there, let them. I don't know.
Yeah, you're talking about a huge.
I'm not too
huge company.
I'm not too outraged.
I wouldn't say I'm outraged.
Not triggered.
So okay, decision time. Justified criticism or not?
Under a certain set of facts, I can understand where some people could consider them creepy. I don't think it's enough to get what do we call it? Outraged about.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like I said, I think kind of the you never know type of thing is pushing for a little more encouragement than some sort of marketing advertisement needs to do.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. What are
Same with the fine print.
What the hell's
you know?
Coke marketing? Like,
Yeah, exactly. It's just a napkin that has Diet Coke on it. What are they pushing for there? Because you got my name and number, you're gonna drink more Diet Coke.
Mhm.
probably.
You know,
Maybe that'll be your cutesy
Yeah.
story.
I mean, it's kind of hard to say there, but outrage, no. Marketing fail, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I could see where
Okay.
it'd be a swing and a miss.
Yeah,
I
swing.
mean,
I think swing and a miss is a perfect.
it seemed pretty
Perfect.
harmless to me.
I
You know,
agree.
I did my best to come up with a
Tried to get
thought
outraged.
exercise about getting outraged over this one, and I really couldn't come up with anything that made any sense for the vast majority of people.
I would
mean,
agree.
you know, yes, of course, if you're a 15-year-old girl or something like that, you know,
Yeah.
maybe you wish that they, but still, I've got enough faith in people's individual autonomy to wad up napkins and throw them in the
Exactly.
trash if they don't, if
Exactly.
they aren't
Once again,
interested,
it's a
right?
napkin.
So you
Throw it
know,
away.
Yep.
And I promise you that if we'll before we move on to the next one, we'll go back to your set of facts, right? So we'll take the 15-year-old girl again who looks like she's older,
Mhm.
and all these people.
I saw this.
We'll just go with people. That. Oh yeah. Anyway, all these people are giving. Sorry, I'm pre-reading the next story.
Yep.
All these people are
Sorry.
giving her the names and phone numbers. I promise you, if the first 3 that show up, she just takes them, wads them up, and throws them without looking at it, people are going to quit doing it.
Very good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
That's peer
Mhm.
pressure right
Mhm.
there. If a couple people fail, no one else is going to try.
Yeah, man. If I was their marketing people, I would have tried to make a play on salty nuts and needing a beverage.
Mhm.
For sure.
I think you'd drink more beverage if you have more salty
For sure.
nuts.
Yeah.
And I think that could have got a little.
Yeah.
If you want a sexual innuendo, you can
Right.
work that in there, right?
Yeah.
With the-
No, I would definitely go with swing and a miss there.
Okay. You guys ready to move on to the
Yes.
number 3?
Let's see, try.
Okay.
Oh, man,
Blackface sweater.
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw this one.
I have not seen
This
one.
was in light of. This was like the same day as the dude out in the governor in Virginia was blackface or clanning it up.
Yeah.
And the assistant, what was it? The AG was blackfacing it up in the 80s. And,
Mhm.
and then,
Yeah, the timing was, I guess, pretty bad for all of that to come together at once. But basically, here, kind of the headline: Gucci's had an $890 sweater, is this kind of a turtleneck looking thing that it's quote unquote blackface sweater here. We've got a picture of it, I think.
Wow.
There.
I love the glasses with it in that
Yes.
one.
Yes.
So the image here, as I see it, it's got this kind of half cup face mask thing,
Right.
but then it's the red,
It's the lips.
the
Yes.
lips thing that kind of, I guess, probably takes it into blackface territory.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of
At
like
least
a.
that's the visual.
It's
Minstrel.
like a half balaclava, which is obviously like your standard ski mask is a balaclava for you listeners who don't know. And yeah, I would
Taylor's
definitely.
a man of culture.
That's actually just what they call them in the army. You get balaclavas, so that's
And
how
they
I learned
also
the
call
name.
it on the
Balaclava.
website.
And they
there.
call it on the website. First off, I'm never paying $890 for a sweater. Just throwing that out there. I got
Pussy.
$890 I can spend on a lot of better things than a sweater, but yeah, that looks weird and bad.
Okay.
Like,
So Gucci apologized. They said blah blah blah. We're sorry, we screwed it up, et cetera, et cetera.
We love diversity.
I wonder. Okay, here's a Tariq Nasheed quote.
Is he the UFC
He's a
fighter?
pretty big actor. When something happens, the blue check marks come out,
Right.
and then they want to say, "Hey, pay attention to this or pay attention to that."
I feel like is he a actor or a
he's I'm pretty
UFC
sure he's
fighter?
a activist of some sort. I don't know what he does
I'm not sure.
entirely, but so they put out this sweater in Black History Month and then issue an apology that they didn't know that blackface images are racist. Here's another one. How does this keep supposedly happening with luxury brands? No one at Gucci clocked the similarity between the racist imagery, their sweater, and Prada's keychain.
Oh, that's a bad keychain.
that is bad keychain.
Okay, so we kind of got at least a taste of what sort of the
Right.
the
Let's
outrage
go back
is
up
like on
to
this
the
one.
Gucci response that they had listed out
Yeah,
because
I would-
Tariq Nasheed said that they didn't know that blackface was. What's this bottom one say? We're
Yeah,
fully
I'd
committed
like
to
to read
increasing diversity throughout our organization. Turns into a powerful learning moment. I don't think that they said that they didn't know blackface was racist. I think that they just said that they didn't think that this was like
A big deal.
blackface. Like
Right.
they weren't considering it to be a blackface type issue.
Okay, well, let's maybe go back up to the picture. Could this have been an honest mistake?
No,
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I think it could
I
have
think
been.
it could. I think the honest mistake could be they didn't realize that blackface was a racist thing. They could have just seen the ideology or the symbol of it, right, and just decided to turn that into something. And I mean, we're in pop culture here, so could have just turned it into trying to make a profit, that kind of thing. Not understanding the implications behind it. I would agree with that.
Well, does the intent matter though? I mean, I think what if they made the sweater and they didn't intend for it to be representative of blackface? They like honestly said, okay, we're gonna make a turtleneck thing with a mouth slit in it, and
give it
it's
red
a
lips?
woman's sweater. Women like red lips.
red
let's
lips.
put red lips on. I mean, could it be?
I think intent absolutely matters. I think if they marketed this as blackface balaclava and put it up for
Yeah.
sale, I think that's way more racist.
I'm just saying, real quick. I understand that's cut off, but that says balaclava knit top. I'm guessing that says blackface.
Oh no, that says black.
You think it just says black?
Yes.
'Kay.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I can't imagine any lawyer or anyone would let them put the word blackface.
You're also
in
talking
their
about.
product
I mean,
description.
Gucci is going to be a European brand.
You're
That's
right, but
Italian.
Italian.
it's Italian, but it's I mean, it's international.
What if this sweater I mean, if this is the black version, what if it comes in green or red
Correct.
or what,
Yes.
white or whatever?
Yeah, I would say that
You
changes
know.
it a little bit.
Right.
I think it's more of a they didn't think about. I think it. I think it, I don't. I think the intent was not there. The intent to be a blackface image. It really is.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was malicious intent.
Well, and we see it that way,
Correct.
right? Because we're maybe a little more sensitive to that in the United States
Could
than
be.
they might be in Italy.
Could be.
Could
Yeah.
be.
That could be a possibility as well.
I mean, they do have a lot of black chaps in Italy.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know much about the demographic in Italy, whether or not
I'd
they've got
imagine. I mean,
a lot of
Europe
black
as a
people.
whole has quite a few
Yeah.
black people from
There's-
the colonial times that
but
moved
yeah.
over and all that.
Could be. Yeah, I don't know. But I mean,
I think that is justified to be mad about it happening, but I don't think it was malicious in intent.
I would agree with that. I would probably say once again, because of how our social media is, because it gives you a platform to stand on, that people are allowed to share their opinions, share their voice, and the people who were outraged about that had every right to be so. But like Spurge said, judging by the apology they wrote, and once again, they're just going to write the best generic apology they can
Yeah.
to offend the least amount of people.
Correct.
But based on what we read, I would say that the intent was not there. Now, I know the next question you're going to ask is, does the Twitter outrage, is it justified?
mhm.
And I almost have to say yes on this one.
Yeah, I'm kind of in your boat.
I almost have to say yes there because it is such an imagery. I mean, if they came out with something that had a big white pointy hood, guess what? Everyone's going to associate that with the KKK. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, it's even internationally, these things should be known because they should be doing research on their demographic
Right.
targets. So these kind of things should be known. Was it intentional? Probably not. Is the outrage warranted? I would say yes.
If the big giant lips weren't there, I don't think it would be an issue.
Agreed.
Mhm.
If that would just be black up to the mouth with no red lips, it would be
Correct.
okay.
Yeah.
Have you guys watch Always Sunny?
Mm-mm.
Occasionally.
Oh man, they did a real funny one where they talked about what's more racist, blackface or doing a black voice, because they're making Lethal Weapon 5, and whoever's playing Murtaugh, like one of the guys is like, no, blackface is way more racist, so he talks like this and throughout, and then they switch people playing Murtaugh halfway through, and the other guy thinks the black voice is way more racist, so he puts black face on, and Frank brings it up that no, you got to do the lips all funny, and then that was I'm like,
Right.
whoa, that's
Yeah.
that is way worse.
Yeah.
I don't really know the history of blackface, but I thought it
Goes to
was
minstrel shows.
yeah. I mean, I thought it was something that when it was an entertainment thing where it would be white people or fairer skinned people that would wear face paint and kind of have a cartoonish caricature of a black person
Correct.
Mhm,
for
correct.
entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
But I don't know if is that a European thing? Is it a more of an American thing? It'd be nice to know
I don't know about Europe.
the
Yeah.
context because if it's like more of an American thing, then to me, then the outrage mob over Italian sweater faux pas and stuff to me starts to lose a little bit of its
I
credibility.
still got to go back to Gucci, who is one of the largest designers on the planet. Their marketing team should certainly be able to look at the demographic and go, is that acceptable?
Mhm.
Somebody over there knows. So either somebody didn't speak up or somebody said, yeah, that's a great idea. So either Gucci's surrounded by yes men, I mean, they should know that. They should do their research. I understand high fashion and such. You don't always have that.
Mhm.
But if you're putting out something like that, they probably understood that was going to be controversial. Was the intent there? Based on what we read, probably not. But they probably understood it would be controversial.
I agree with you on that point that they understood the controversy. And here's my conspiracy theory on the thing that they did this on purpose. That
Right, because it cost $900.
They knew damn well that people would get stirred up about it, and it's a bunch of free
It
publicity.
is free press.
And Gucci is huge, as you mentioned, and they're going
Yes.
to weather the storm. And I mean, how many, like, Gucci is, it's like one of those things that pops up in every rap song that you've
Yep.
almost ever heard.
Gucci
Gucci
gang,
this and Gucci
gang,
that and Gucci
Heck,
gang.
Gucci gang.
So, I mean, I don't think that they took as big of a hit for this.
No, I'm sure not.
As it may seem from the Twitter mob.
Right.
So
Well,
that's
yeah,
kind of my
because
conspiracy
how
theory.
much Gucci is the average Twitter mobber buying?
Right.
Well, $900 a sweatshirt,
You know,
not much.
some super right wing homeboy from Oklahoma isn't buying Gucci.
Right.
Okay. Well, so we've had these three stories,
Yes.
Yes.
and you guys think justified reaction.
I think based on the
Gucci.
content we were given.
Okay.
Now, whether like it kind of goes back to, did Gucci, your conspiracy theory, did Gucci do this intentionally to raise press? Was the intent there just to raise controversy?
I didn't know. I think about it more.
I know.
I think you're right.
So per what was in the press, I would say justified.
Mm-hmm.
Per what we saw in that one article.
Yeah.
I would
I
say
think so,
justified
too.
there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's the only one I give it justified.
Yeah.
I think the snowflakes are real when it comes to the Coke and the
Yeah.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so how would you guys rank them then? What make your list to say from most justified? I guess we probably know the tops of your list for most justified would be
Gucci.
Gucci.
But then how would you place the other two?
I'd have to do Coke and then Liam Neeson.
I would
just
agree.
because of the Orwellian nature of policing people's thoughts.
Yes.
From 35 years ago.
Right.
That's incredibly terrifying to me.
Mhm.
No.
Even if it isn't done in an official like governmental capacity, it's
Court of public opinion type
yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Right. And I kind of go back to what, Spurge said here, oh, do you know who it was? No. Oh, were they of color? Yes. That is an identifying feature.
Yeah.
So I understand that probably rubs wrong with the non-white population, but at the same time, 35 years ago, certainly a different time, a completely different country. We were in the United States as a whole was in a different place in the late 70s and late 80s or early 80s than Ireland was, for goodness sake. So, it's hard to say. He was probably, in his 20s, something like that. For all I know, he was a hothead when he was younger anyway.
Mhm.
The man's just talking about how he gets into character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get those from real life experiences. So that happens to be what he draws on to get that. So I would agree with Spurge.
We forgot
has
to put a trigger
Gucci,
warning at the
Coke,
beginning of the
Oh
episode.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Trigger warning. Trigger warning.
Yeah.
You may be offended by the following content.
We're guilty of some thought crimes by omission, right?
Right.
We didn't think to
Oh,
give
man.
our trigger warning. Throw us in the pillory.
Right.
I think my list is probably the same as you guys. In terms of the order, I would agree that the most justified reaction was the sweater, and then I'd say napkins, and then Liam Neeson for most of the same reasons. I'm on the sweater thing. I'm not entirely convinced that overall the reaction was wholly justified. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of married to my conspiracy theory.
But even if you think
idea.
about your conspiracy theory, right? So even if this is what I guess you would call a PR stunt, right?
Yep.
Even if it is a PR stunt, their goal was to get a reaction on social media,
Yeah.
which means that their reactions were obviously justified because that's what Gucci wanted. That's what they wanted. They wanted to bring that recognition up then.
Does that make the reaction justified though? I mean,
If their intent was to create that, then yes.
well, they elicited the desired reaction, but
Right.
what I'm asking is whether or not the reaction had any merit.
Right.
So
Yeah, if the intent was, I can see where you're coming
yeah.
from. Okay.
So okay.
Funny thing, are we?
I don't know if
We want more?
I think our only viewer is me, so nobody's commenting.
Horse shit.
Yeah, Greenberg clearly gave up on us.
To the trigger warning aspect of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a few group chat Facebooks that I keep open with some friends. One's from friends from Iowa City. One's a former roommate and a pharmacist. Taylor knows him, Kyle.
Yep.
And then Greg, you know Greg?
Yep.
Big hippie Greg. So another guy from Wartburg originally. And then Annie Ventulo. She went to Wartburg too. Her dad was a bio professor, biochemistry professor. Anyway, she's a social worker in Iowa City. And she sent out a screenshot of this little cutesy Facebook post that says, "You all deserve someone who isn't embarrassed to love you and tells all their friends about you and saves your selfies. Good and bad to look at when they miss you and loses sleep to talk and tell." And then she posts the comments, and someone was asking for a trigger warning to be added to this post. And someone questioned him, and he said, "The rules state I don't need to explain, but my family are embarrassed to love me, and this reminded me of that, and I'm not going to delve further into a sensitive topic." And then, and then she's like, because she's the biggest snowflake of them all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love Annie to death, but she's a social justice warrior for sure.
Okay.
She's like, "Am I being overly judgmental or is asking for a trigger warning going too far? Like, Jesus, this is why we can't have nice things." Later to find out that guy was a troll because he also asked for trigger warnings on something to do with bees and something to do with God because he had
Okay.
bad memories associated with bees
Yeah.
and just trolling SJW posts
Right.
because they'll put a trigger warning on anything for you,
Mm-hmm.
which is silly.
Yeah, I mean,
Things about sexual violence, sure. Things about domestic abuse, sure. Things
Bees.
about bees and
right.
other issues, get over it.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the thing that's being talked about.
Yeah.
Every time. It's always the devil's in the details. But what I would say about these three stories, sort of big picture satellite view, is that I think that it's indicative of a thing that's happening in our culture where people are able to create enough buzz online that they're able to make celebrities, big corporations, etc.
Talk to them.
But then bend to the will of little people with a Twitter account somewhere.
Yeah.
And somebody you put out one picture of a napkin or something that you think, oh, maybe this could be construed as being offensive or something like that. It gets traction, right? And these corporations and celebrities and so forth are so afraid of the negative publicity that they're willing to sit there
Recall them all.
and come
Yeah.
with their tail between their legs and oh my God, I'm sorry about
better
this.
put
I'm
out a
sorry about that.
statement. and-
Well, and then
Yeah.
I was thinking about this a little bit because it would make me so happy to say the napkin thing to me, which I think is about 99% completely baseless.
Silly. Yeah.
And I wish either Delta or Coke would have been like, yeah, fuck you. No. Throw it in the trash. It's a cute
And
idea.
have we ever seen that?
No.
We've never seen it ever.
Not that I can
No.
think of. One
And-
example.
And I think if a corporation did that, had some balls, I think there'd be a lot of people that would say, yeah,
Right on.
right on. But they would have to be willing to weather, because then I think that the outrage mob would turn up the dial to 11,
Oh, sure.
and they'd have to be willing to weather that.
Right.
And I was sort of thinking about that in a few multi-dimensional ways, and I'm like, I wonder if these boards of directors could be liable for derivative action from their shareholders by not coming along with an apology or something like that. Because, let's say Coke says, yeah, fuck you, napkin complainers, and now their stock plummets because everybody
Right.
on Twitter is freaking out about it, and here come the shareholders.
And say, okay, we're going to
we're-
replace the whole board.
We're going to dump the board for other people pursuant to some derivative action.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think what's really going on is nerds with Twitter accounts are getting off on the fact that they can make celebrities and big companies and stuff bend to their will.
Because tell me how if you think about these folks, how pissed are they really?
Yeah.
How much is it really impacting
Right.
their lives?
Well,
it's not. It's exactly what you
let's
said.
just-
They're trying to get their
Yeah.
name they're trying to get their Twitter on CNN or on any news show.
And let's
And
step back a couple decades quick, right? So before social media, before Twitter, before email, right? If you had an issue with a company, you called and complained or you sent them a letter, right?
right. No one saw that.
I think exactly. Nobody saw it.
Mhm.
So nowadays you post one thing and it's seen by thousands.
Well, and that's the thing.
Can
You
be.
post one negative Yelp review,
Yeah.
you guarantee you that management is replying to that comment
Yes.
online in a public forum.
Yes. and I would agree with you. I think some people are just looking for that attention. And part of it may be just our Midwest upbringing, right? As a Midwest as a whole, we tend to be tolerant. We tend to be nicer people.
Yeah.
I guess
We're
that's very
iconoclasts
generic. I'm not
here.
saying we're all nice because I'm an
Right.
asshole.
Bunch of
But,
bon vivants up here in the upper
but-
Midwest.
Nice.
But
nice
that's
reference.
not true all over the world. You know what I mean? Like some of these people probably do just get outraged by the littlest things and they feel they need to voice their opinions.
And I think
Yeah.
that there is something to that. There is a little bit of but I don't believe so much in the snowflake culture as much as some of my friends on the right do. Yeah, people get pissy about little things anymore. I don't know how true those feelings are.
Yeah.
I think that they're emboldened by the keyboard warrior thing. I think they're also emboldened by that being acceptable behavior nowadays. But I don't buy this bullshit that we don't spank our kids anymore, so therefore they're a bunch of pussies.
Mhm.
I don't buy that shit.
Mm.
Man, I wasn't spanked, but I'm not a crybaby pussy either.
Yeah.
I know that's anecdotal evidence, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, to what you're saying, Spurge, I think that the risk that we run here is that there's a sort of a race to the bottom, kind of, on what is going to be substantially enough to get pissed about online. And
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that it's hard for me to imagine the napkin thing would have been an issue 15 years ago,
dude,
or even 10.
the
you know what I
Starbucks
mean?
cups.
Or the Starbucks. Yeah, there's 1,000 examples of this kind
Yeah.
of thing, and that I think there's something to somebody's desire to want to stand out on a social media platform
Mhm.
and kind of exercise that power essentially over a celebrity or a corporation or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And it's sort of this, I've got to out politically correct the next guy in order to stand out
That's
anymore.
where the new race to the bottom is.
And it's this race to the bottom. But then the unhappy side effect of that is we live in this ridiculous rounded edges and nerfed walls society where nobody can so much as have a face-to-face interaction
Right.
with anybody anymore.
And that's true. You know, I think that's a lot. That's a lot to do with it, though, isn't it? Where you're not looking anyone in the eye, you're not talking to anyone directly. You're just putting it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just asking questions.
Yeah. Just ask the question. Oh, Gerald Greenberg says, I'm offended by Spurge. What the heck did Spurge do to you, Mr. Greenberg?
Yeah, Mr. Greenberg.
Huh?
It's probably the sweatshirt. I'm also offended by this. My mother bought me this when I lived in Kansas City so I wouldn't get beat up.
Yeah.
Is what she said. And it's a comfy sweatshirt. Though I did enjoy watching the Chiefs this year. I thought they were
Yeah.
entertaining. Mahomes is a stud.
Mm-hmm.
But no, yeah,
Sure.
I think there is a lot to that. I'm gonna out politically correct you because I'm woke as fuck. You know.
Yeah, that to me is a kind of dangerous
Yes.
position to take. I don't.
Because it leads to thought police.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see. Is that really progress?
No.
To me, that's a regress.
That's a regression.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Regressive behavior, and yeah, no bueno.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think they see it a lot on the left, but I think you see it as much on the right, man. With the whole Starbucks cut thing that happened a couple years ago,
Yes.
where they didn't say Merry Christmas on their cups. Those sons of bitches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never drinking Starbucks again. I don't drink Starbucks because it's not the best coffee. If it's around, I'll grab a Starbucks. But like,
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah,
I don't know,
for
man.
every kind of hashtag Me Too or something like that
Right.
that you think is baseless, that's coming out of what you think is left wing. You know, there's some conservative that's pissed off because somebody told him Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas.
right.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think you do have a good point there that it's a two-way street, and people are, you know, lobbing these ideological morality high ground bombs at one another from their trenches.
That's a
and,
really good way
you know,
to put
yeah,
it.
seriously, that's what it's like. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's just all come together, everybody.
Come together. Oh, weird.
Right now.
Okay.
Who's singing,
Ooh.
Taylor?
What?
Who's singing?
Is that the Beatles?
It is the Beatles.
Ringo Starr isn't even the best drummer in the Beatles.
I want to play some Johnny DeMarco for you, Spurge.
Paul McCartney said that.
All right.
Oh, we got to find a good one though.
Because yeah, Ringo's garbage.
So I don't know if you've heard of Tay has maybe heard of Johnny DeMarco.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
You know this.
He looks kind of like Dwight.
Tay is in the he's in sort of the guitar dark web with me, so he knows all this stuff.
Oh my
But
goodness.
Johnny, okay, so Boss and Roland are pretty well-known guitar
Very well known.
Nope.
manufacturers.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought
So
those
it's
were
yeah, they
guitars'
make
names.
amps, pedals,
Sure.
that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And
The
this
Boss.
is an advertising campaign from roughly 10 years ago. Okay, so
Okay.
they had the idea. I mean, they broke into the YouTube venue
Sure.
by, you know, okay, we're gonna hire a shred guitar player to play cool stuff,
Which is a
using
good
our-
venue for their stuff.
and
Because
and it was pretty cutting edge for 10 years ago. Whatever. However, they were not cutting edge in their video production, and it's
Oh, awesome.
hilarious.
Jazz Cronus amp.
This is a jazz chorus amp. Yep.
chorus amp. Okay.
Hopefully, we don't have to sit through an ad here.
Awesome. Just awesome.
Look at the background.
I love the 2D background on the 3D stage.
That's good. Because you know they're standing on green screen too, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're just in a giant green room. Look at the facial expression.
Hey everybody, I'm Johnny DeMarco.
And I'm Gary Lanier, and you just heard the Roland JC120, the world's greatest amp for stomp boxes, multi.
Does this look like 10 years ago video production to you guys?
Hold on.
That
So that would be
looks like-
2009?
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking
No.
like 20 years.
Yeah, because
That's like
2009
Power.
we
That's
were
like
in
Power
college.
Rangers type video production.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were in college then. Like, people were making better video production effects in Mr. Richardson's video production class.
Right.
Which I always thought I missed out on a little bit of high school by not taking that class.
Agree. No, I would stand by that. That does not look like 10 years ago of video production.
Isn't that nutty though?
That's
You know, I love when people first try to embrace the technology and they're like already 10 years behind.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
And
Oh yeah, this is
like this.
That's a very good example of it.
Yeah. They're like, oh, we're
Perfect
gonna
example.
we're gonna break into the newest tech. Let me boot up my Dell, my Gateway 2000.
Exactly.
You know.
Let me get the Dell Inspiron with the green background.
Yeah.
But so they, basically the way this goes is they have little breakdowns of their stuff, and they show you the different features and everything. And I'll play a little bit of this
Specs,
to give you an
amazing
idea.
clean tones.
The legendary Roland JC120 can pull vintage and modern tones at blistering volumes.
Legendary,
It's a
but
studio and
it's
stage
brand
standard
new.
in the music industry, and here's why. I mean, we're talking about 120 watts of stereo madness with dual 3-band EQs. Plug
Nobody
your
needs
favorite
that.
stomp
It only
boxes
goes to
into the
10.
front and listen to the clarity and definition like never before.
Okay, Tay, I heard you say nobody needs 120 watts.
In stereo. Nobody.
Now, in defense of these guys, us at 18 would have definitely been all over.
Okay, so I have a
120
100 watt half stack. Sue me.
I was gonna say because you guys wanted the biggest number, right?
And I've cranked
yeah.
it, and it's awesome. But there's no practical use for it. As awesome as it is, there's no
What
practical
if you want to
use
turn
for
it up to 11?
Then you plug into a PA.
But this one goes to 11.
Well, the watt thing is all about headroom.
Yeah, it's headroom.
So the bigger the wattage, meaning like the higher it'll maintain its sonic integrity before it starts to break up and get all
Turn to crap.
turned to crap. Yeah, so you've got what's popular right now is lower wattage amps that people turn up and hit them to the sweet spot. And
Yep.
I mean the difference in volume in terms of like a decibel level is pretty marginal
Negligible.
between like a 30 watt or a 20 watt amp and then one of those 100 watt
Yep,
ones.
it's
The
very
difference is
negligible
how loud you got to crank the thing
to get your sweet spot.
to get your sweet spot sound. Yeah. And anyways, yeah, I mean 120 would be very, very unusable. I would think in like 90% of guitar players.
Probably like 99%.
Probably 99%.
I can think of like 2 reasons I would ever use that, and both of them involve festivals that I would never play. Like, because I feel like with 120 watts, first off, that thing's gonna have to be cranked to like 7 or 8 to find your sweet spot. On like a 30 watt amp, you can find it at like 4 or 5 typically. So I feel like at 120 watts to get cranked that high, just to get your sweet spot, and then you're gonna have to be playing somewhere that's gonna get mic'd into a PA anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like it's very reminiscent of the 80s. How about that?
All right.
If that sucker doesn't go to 11, you're wrong.
We got to get into the features here.
Yeah, what do we got? We got knobs.
Yeah,
Which isn't part of the amp.
he's doing the distortion.
It's a pedal. Come on, Tony Iommi, let's go.
That man's like orgasm.
I would agree. Did anybody else see the metal zone on there?
I don't know if they got the metal zone.
I saw it. The worst pedal ever made in the history of guitar pedals. I'm curious.
What? The metal
The
zone?
metal zone is the worst pedal ever made in the history of guitar pedals.
You don't think there's a usable tone in
There
there somewhere?
isn't.
I don't know if I agree or not, Tay.
Do you have
There
one
might be
over there,
something.
Jim?
No, I don't have a metal zone, but
Damn.
I do have I've got a version of the metal zone, I think, in my multi-effects pedal. But I don't know how close that is to the real thing, I guess.
Now they've actually re-released the metal zone as part of the Boss Katana series, where it's been completely redone, and it's very usable.
Mm-hmm.
The old one, there was like one dial setting in there, you could get it to sound okay. But the second you bump those knobs, you'd never find it
Right.
again. Like it
Yeah.
it sounded like trash or trash being compacted. Those were your two choices. Sorry, a little going off in the. I saw the metal zone.
Tangential. Yeah, no, I mean, it's all
yeah.
good.
It's rough. I don't understand how they're featuring the amp when all we're doing is putting pedals in front of it.
Well, I mean, that's the idea. Is that it's a clean pedal platform, so that you've got.
I guess
know.
pedaling was pretty
Yeah.
huge at this point.
Have you seen? There's an orange, just a power amp out now. That like the idea is because so many people are using like Axe effects and stuff
Yep.
like that in their computers. So you just like it'll take a line out from a laptop or something, and you just plug it in, and it's 100 watts, I think. But it's got the half and you can
Right.
cut it down, and it's pretty sweet.
I do like orange.
Yeah,
Makes.
They ever make a pedal?
a pedal.
Feel like they're missing out.
There's have you heard of this Steel Panther band?
Yes.
They've got I think this guy, the guitar player's got a signature pedal.
Yes, he does.
It's the Pussy Melter or something like that.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It is bright pink, and I want to say the settings are like moistness,
Good God.
tightness, and there's a third one in there.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
It's quite the.
That's rough.
Oh, I tell you what, check out Steel Panther sometime, and you will. All you have to do is listen to one song of theirs, and you'll get it. I mean, that band epitomizes the '80s, hands down.
God, I hated the 80s.
And they're
though.
actually good. They're really good.
The 80s weren't, though.
Well,
No.
I like '80s music, so.
Well,
Yeah, Tay. Did you listen to the episode with Tay on it before, when he did his
Oh, I
Mount
did.
Rushmore? And it was like Pantera,
Yeah,
Metallica.
yeah.
What?
No, I did.
There was like 4 thrash bands from the
Yeah.
80s.
Slayer was on there.
Absolutely.
Yep. No, I heard it.
Okay, so Spurt, what would your top 4 be for? Did we limit it to
Bands
metal
or guitarists?
Yeah,
or,
whatever
we did on
bands.
mine.
Yeah, if you want to do bands, you can make whatever
Bands?
Mount Rushmore you want to.
I'd start with probably Pink Floyd.
Solid choice.
Fair.
I think the band would make my list.
Okay.
I really enjoyed their sound much more than like Skinnerd or Creedence. Two more.
So you've got the band and what was your
Floyd.
The
Floyd,
band
yeah.
and Pink Floyd.
Okay.
Correct. I'd probably go with Queen because they were very dynamic. They changed a lot. I thought that was fun. But that'd be 80s. That was pretty good music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, late 70s, 80s.
Yeah. And then I'd
Any newer bands? So
that's hard. I'm not super into newer music. I don't listen to a lot of new music. Excuse me. The new music I do listen to is not very high production. It's more local stuff. I listen to a lot of guys from Wisconsin and Minnesota and
okay,
the Midwest in general that tour around little venues,
nice.
which I really enjoy. 4, I'd have to go with Neil Young.
I can't be upset about Neil Young.
He's fantastic, and all of his projects were very good. Even when he was with Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and the energy was palpable between him and Steven Stills, who I think is fantastic as well. I saw those guys live. They still got pipes, man. Like 2 years ago, I saw them in Peoria, and it was a fantastic night. And then they broke up again.
Mm-hmm.
They keep doing that. David Crosby's a dick.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, those are pretty solid choices.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm different.
Now, okay, so
Best frontman ever? Prince.
okay.
Period.
Can you really
Alright.
call him a front man? I mean, he's like a
Yes.
one-man band.
He was the frontman for the Revolution.
Yeah. I've never been able to get too into. I mean, I've always respected. He played really mean guitar. He
Good.
was a sang. He could shred on like multi instruments,
He was the
keyboard.
best.
You know,
He
yeah,
was the best at any instrument in the band.
yeah. So
even
I
when
mean,
he
that
had a
was
band.
Yes.
that's a neat feature. But we've always had a hard time kind of getting behind the songs. I just
His music's different.
never dug him
Yes.
too much.
His
So,
music is different, but I think there's also a lot that we don't know of his music. Like when he died, and they were talking about his music vault.
he's got him in like a bunker or something. and-
Yeah, dude, they said he could release a new album every month for the next 100 years.
Wow.
Like they said, he just had incredible amounts of music because he
Wow.
lived in a studio,
Right.
and that's all he did was apparently get real high on fentanyl and such,
Mhm.
Right.
and then go play
Record music. Yeah.
and have parties. He had a lot of parties.
Yep. I listened to some. There was a Kevin Smith something or other. Like he was doing maybe stand up or something, and he went on and on and on about how he went to Prince's house and he like was directing some sort of movie or something. But they
Okay.
like
Went
put
to, went to Paisley Palace.
yeah, and it was the weird. He said it was the weirdest experience. I can't kind of fill you in on all the details off the top of my head, but he's like, there'd be like speakers and microphones in literally every room, and it was
Yeah.
all like live sound all the time. So Prince's voice would just appear from the corner of a room or something, and everything was always being recorded and stuff.
He'd just show up at First Avenue in Minneapolis and just show up with his guitar and say, "Hey, I'm gonna play,"
Mm-hmm.
and they'd be like, "Okay, sure."
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I watched his Super Bowl performance. How many years ago was that? Been? I mean, that was pretty. Even as a non-Prince fan,
That was the best Super Bowl
That was
performance,
pretty-
period.
pretty
in my opinion.
iconic. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
playing Purple Rain in the rain.
rain.
Yeah.
Oh, gives me shivers.
hmm
Because that man, like, I didn't realize it until I got older that how hard he hits a guitar. Like, he is incredible.
He's very incredible.
The Rock and Roll 25th Anniversary Hall of Fame concert, I think it was. I bought my dad that DVD, and they had a big like jam sesh at the end, and Paul McCartney was on stage, Tom Morello was on stage, all these superstars, like crazy superstars, and then Prince comes out to play the solo for "While My Guitar Gently Weeps,"
hmm
and just like melted everybody's face.
yes.
He was a talented, very tiny little man. He was only like 5'2",
Yes.
like tiny little dude,
Yes.
like 5'8" with his platforms.
Right. I would agree with that. No,
But,
Prince. Yeah, he's I'm kind of with Jim on that one. Prince to me falls in the same realm as like a Hendrix to me. I don't actively seek his music. I will listen to it when it comes on, and I certainly respect the hell out of the man for their ability and for what they've done for music.
hmm
But do I actively seek out to listen to Prince? No.
Yeah.
Oh man, but when
But-
when that comes on the radio in the pharmacy,
Oh yeah. you-
little red Corvette. Oh yeah, dude, I'll be doing twirls and.
yeah. That's. I don't remember you being a Prince fan when we were kids.
I
So
wasn't
much.
so much. It was when I went to
Okay.
St. Olaf
Okay.
up in Minnesota,
Yeah, that makes sense.
and all those boys, everyone had an affinity,
Mhm.
and it kind of rubbed off on me, and so I
Sure.
started exploring him a little bit more.
Yeah.
Though I will say, Purple Rain. I have a fond memory. You remember my house on 6th Street?
Oh yeah.
I lived there like a year after you were here.
Yep. I remember you talking about it when we were
I
young.
had an upstairs room, or no, it was when I was still downstairs. So this was when I was like
Oh man, that's way back.
first, second
The
grade, like,
downstairs
young.
room. Yeah, I
And I
remember
had-
the downstairs.
I had a stereo in my room that I got to listen to the radio while I went to bed.
Mhm.
And I remember if I stayed up till 9, at 9 o'clock, they played Purple Rain
Okay.
every night.
Hmm.
And so I'd always stay up till 9 o'clock and listen to my. Been in that purple rain. I know. Just a little Spurge jamming out,
Yeah.
and then I'd go to bed.
Can I tell a quick Spurge story from when we were like 5?
Absolutely.
Oh God!
Oh man,
which
this is going way back. We had some play date or whatever, and we were at
we had quite a few of
the
those
6th
because
Street,
we were the only children.
right. Yeah. So,
We needed friends.
Yeah, definitely. They stuck us together for sure. But we're doing what, and we were talking about, what are we gonna do, and blah 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 or whatever. And you used to have a killer Care Bear, collection.
Dude, I remember this story.
So we're hanging out, and Spurge is like,
I had tens and
yeah,
like
he had
20,
all
30,
these Care
like,
Bears and
tons
stuff.
of them.
So we're watching TV, whatever, and moving, go out, play out in the yard, blah, 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 hanging out. Spurge says, hey, Jim, what do you want to do next? And I go, dude, I don't care. Whatever, man. He's like, the Care Bears, they will get you if you don't care.
Yeah. Dead ass serious. Yep. That was Spurge.
Oh man, if we were even in kindergarten, I would be surprised.
I'd be surprised. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
that
no,
was probably
preschool.
like preschool. Yeah.
Wow.
We were a little
But
tougher.
I mean, yeah, you learned that you had to care.
You have to care.
Yeah,
You have to care. Otherwise, the Care Bears will do the Care Bear stare at you.
Yeah, right.
Shoot their tummy beams.
Right, but I mean, this story is probably from 1989 or
Yeah,
something.
It could be in the 80s. Oh man, I was so Megan was in town, and we went through my cousin when I graduated high school made this scrapbook. And she's real into it, and it's very nice. It's got the little cutesy designs everywhere. But goddamn, did I dress like a dumbass? Holy shit, man! It's got every year's school picture, and like I blatantly remember my kindergarten one. I had a turtleneck on under a sweatshirt.
Okay.
In like, I don't know, early September. Is that when they get school pictures?
Mm-hmm.
Had 3 cows there on the sweatshirt.
Nice.
Just 3 cows frolicking. Cows on the turtleneck.
Nice.
Oh man, it was a peach.
Where did Dave and Jill come up with that?
Jill came up with that.
that's
I
a
mean,
Jill
Jesus,
thing.
there's no Dave in that
Yeah.
at
Right.
all. My dad, actually, let's talk about blackface. My father put me in blackface when I was a baby. So they had just gotten me. They adopted me in September 16th in 1985. And so I don't know if it was my first Halloween or my second Halloween, but I went as Kirby Puckett.
Oh no.
And Dave started with a shoe polish, from what I hear.
Dave.
I don't remember any of this, but I've been told this story by my father.
Oh.
That he put a little baby in blackface. He didn't make the funny lips or anything. But he put shoe polish all over me. And I must have been woke AF back then because I started crying like a son of a gun.
Andy wasn't having it, man.
Well, no, man. I thought that was racist, I
Mhm.
guess.
Not having it.
I didn't make it out of the house, thank God.
First Halloween.
Thank God, because we would have gone to like the minister's
Oh, yeah.
house and
Oh my goodness.
Dave Spurgeon. By the way, Dave Spurgeon, he goes when were we doing this the first try? Was that just last night?
No.
Wednesday.
Wednesday night?
The
Wednesday.
ice storm, yeah.
Yeah, Wednesday night. After dinner, I'm like, yeah, I'm going up to the gym. We got Tay coming over and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, well, I want to call in. I'm like, dude, we would love to have you on the podcast.
Oh, God, yeah.
He goes,
Dave all day
what are
long.
you talking about? I'm like, you name the topic. Like,
Yeah.
we'll adapt to you. And he's like, all right. Like, so we might have a Dave Spurgeon
We could maybe
sighting.
get a Dave appearance.
Oh man, and he's
Oh,
got
man.
stories.
That'd
Yes.
be great.
He's got stories because he was a little shithead in like poor ass North Des Moines back in
Mhm.
the day. They had all kinds of stories about him being a little ragamuffin,
Oh, I suppose.
shooting his brother with glass.
Tay, you had about 10 years in West Des Moines,
Yeah.
Clive, didn't you? Or where
Yeah.
did you live in Clive? was
Yeah,
it,
we
or-
were in originally Urbandale
Okay.
for a couple years. And then I think when Trevor was like 1, so I'd have been like 3 or 4, we moved from Urbandale to Clive. The only thing I remember about Urbandale, I remember a little bit of the house layout. There was a real big hill in front of it.
Uh-huh.
So I remember sitting there for hours on end while they loaded up the truck.
Sure.
And then, yeah, I lived in Clive, basically right across from Clock Tower Square.
Yeah. Huh.
TJ Maxx, right off 86th on
Right.
University there. Basically shared a backyard with Toys R Us.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
that was 10 years. And then, parents divorced, mom remarried, and I went from Clive to Esterville.
Yeah, go midgets.
It was quite the transition.
Yeah, I remember when you moved
Sixth
to town.
grade?
Yeah, I remember that well.
Yep.
Because
sixth grade.
I remember because I came home from school, and I said, oh, I got a new kid as my locker mate.
Yep.
And my dad goes, "Oh, that's great. It must be Doc Urbis's new stepson and all that." I'm like, "Oh, cool," because I knew Rick from forever.
Everybody knows Rick.
And
yeah.
I didn't realize this when I moved
We
here,
should
but
get Rick on the podcast.
Everybody
he'd be
knows
fun
Rick.
too.
Yeah.
He'd be a
he's
lot
funny.
of fun. We get a little scotch in him.
Yeah.
yeah, he doesn't
Um,
drink anymore. He's got heart problems.
Oh, poor
I know.
Rick.
He
Anyway.
drinks, he
He'd
drinks,
be
Mer-
fun
he
anyways.
drinks wine now, Merlot.
There we
He'd
go.
be fun.
He's
Yeah.
classy as fuck.
Classy.
But I can't. And then I went to school, and it wasn't Taylor. It was Andy Schwager.
Oh.
And
Who was your
he was my
mate?
locker mate. So my locker smelled like cigarettes and pot the whole year.
I think actually the first person I met in Nestorville was actually Andy Hamilton
Yeah, I could see that.
because we would have had band practice,
Yep.
and being a clarinetist,
Okay.
he would have been the one I sat next to. So I think my first
That's right.
Introduction.
You started with that.
Hamdronics.
would have been
Hambone.
Hambone.
God, I would love to talk to that man again too. I
Uh,
Facebook messaged him a couple times. And we
yeah, I want to say
said,
he's in
"Hey,
like
see what's
Denver.
up."
I think he plays in like the Denver
He's
Philharmonic.
not in Denver. He's in
light bulb just popped on.
He's in
Keep going, fellas.
East or West Colorado. He's like
West
up
Grand
at
Junction,
elevation.
I think.
Grand Junction.
Okay.
Yep.
All I know is he has switched to the French horn,
Yep. He's a horn
and he does play in an orchestra.
French horse horn, and he
The Empire. Yes.
yes.
We are doing a deep dive into
angelfire.com,
Oh my
dude.
God.
Andy Hamilton, the Micronation.
This still exists.
Yeah.
Look at
Angel
the-
Fire and GeoCities are
Look at
still
the
a thing.
updates.
These exist.
2002.
February 11th, 2002, the Prince of Swan Lake today created himself Emperor of Swan Lake. Now the Emperor of Swan Lake, Empire of Swan Lake has begun. Hail the Emperor. More forthcoming. The Empire's new
Oh.
page is finally up and running, pending an update that is coming today.
This is so nostalgic.
Okay, let me take a picture of that.
If I'm not
Because I want
mistaken,
to-
I was a duke.
Yeah, I think
I believe I am a duke in the Empire of Groover. Or Swan Lake, apparently
you
it's been
got it,
renamed.
Spurge.
Yeah, because I'm gonna Facebook Hambone.
Yeah, tell them we're
and
podcasting.
let him know we're
about him.
podcasting about him.
I'm gonna go
and-
back here.
Oh man,
Unbelievable.
The Empire, February 12th, the Empire has just had its second constitutional convention. Many issues were decided, and 2 amendments were added to the Constitution. Edward James Rosendahl has been appointed Grand Duke. Also, Economic Minister Baron Menendez has a new page that can be found under the Territories page.
Oh
that's Anthony. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I would agree.
I remember, so I'm going to tell a quick micronation story. Anthony, I think, I want to say, like, put Craig's phone number or something up on his website, and Craig got super pissed about it, and then
There's a schism.
we had a schism. We had, like, we wound up having a trial, and it was me, Craig, Anthony, and Hamilton up at Craig's house, and Craig was super mad, and Andy was trying to play like peacemaker. And anyways, we charged Anthony with like 3 counts of treason, and I can't remember if we kicked him out or what the heck happened, but
Oh,
Oh man.
is there a link to the Constitution on that webpage? Because
I
we
don't know.
definitely wrote a Constitution.
yeah, I
For the
remember.
Empire of Groover.
I remember the Constitution.
I remember going to Lincoln and sitting there, and we wrote it down.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable. I can't
Wow.
believe this exists.
School is out for the summer in the Empire, so the government should have an easier time running. The National Assembly will meet soon. Yeah, that's something this was one of my criticisms of the Constitution, because it needed like 200 people just to operate.
Right?
Because everyone had 47 titles.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Michael Hamilton. Is that his dad?
Yes.
The one
Mike
right
and
above
Pam.
Where are you reading?
the Happy Memorial Day. Oh yeah, the veterans thing.
Yeah. Bill Hamilton was Andy's dad.
Oh,
I
there you go,
remember.
Bill. Yeah.
Holy cow. Oh, God, the Groover Centennial.
Oh man.
Oh,
It's an act of incorporation undertaken in 1990.
1900.
Or, yeah, 1900, excuse me. Capital of the empire since, oh, God. Since 1998.
Heartiest warm wishes to the
Oh.
recently cooperated Spence, King of
Zarahemla? What the heck? I remember these other micronation people at Ham would email and everybody was such a fucking weirdo. Here we are like a bunch of 12, 13, maybe 14-year-olds
Yeah.
doing this stuff, and then everybody else would be like, our age now,
Right.
doing micronations.
No, this is
Oh man.
I just
The restoration
the
of the
empire
National
grew.
Tennis Courts
Yeah.
in the capital has stalled temporarily.
Mm.
The owners of the property, Forest Ridge, are attempting to strengthen. Oh man. I miss that kid. He was
Yeah.
funny.
He was
So
funny.
I think we need to find a way to put the Star Wars video into digital form.
Yeah, I got the tape.
Yeah.
It's in my car right now.
Or
I think
maybe we could have Kyle find a VCR. Wait, do you have one of those VCR to DVD things?
I do.
still?
I
Taylor's
do.
got one.
okay.
I do.
We could maybe make it happen, yeah.
Straight up 1-to-1 recording for sure.
Were you in that movie, Tay? I can't remember.
The Star Wars movie?
Yeah, okay.
No.
Am
Well, I am
just us
aware of it.
three?
I
Craig might have been there.
Craig I feel like Craig was there.
We might have pulled in like a Lester or
Yeah,
Beardsley
maybe.
or Forsyth.
I can't remember. But yeah, it was definitely a neighborhood project
I
for
was
sure.
running, and plus Spurge. I was just
Yeah,
randomly
Spurge, yeah, was in
up
the
and
mix.
about and wearing Coral's bathrobe as a Jedi.
Needed something.
Had this like light blue bathrobe.
Oh goodness.
Oh, just running around the ravine. That
Nuts.
was-
Yeah, that was
we were silly children.
very silly.
Good, clean fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's good, clean fun.
Yes.
Then the Gruber Centennial happened, and
Yeah, everything downhill ever
Oh,
since the Gruber
dude.
Centennial.
I remember from that the mayor of Wallingford, the Yackle, was it Mark
Yeah.
Yackle,
I think
Yep.
so.
dancing in his underwear
Yeah.
at the street dance, just
That's-
hammered. Woo! And I
Oh.
was like, I wasn't old enough to be in the street dance, so we were watching from the shadows.
Right.
Spurge. I got another one.
Oh boy.
We'll see if we can find it. Hopefully. This is
Uh-oh.
it. Yes. This.
Who did?
I think you probably remember this guy, Spurge. It's the Quizmaster.
the Quizmaster Dave.
From Algona.
Oh man, this guy was a legend.
So he's got this epic website, right?
Yeah.
I discovered this in high school because we were talking. We went to a few Garrigan Quiz Bowl tournaments or whatever,
Yeah, quite a few.
and the Quizmaster, of course, was
Quizmaster Dave.
was there quiz mastering, and we found because the website existed, 15 years ago, or whatever.
Food and drink.
But it's one of those things that's like
Apartment living.
oh yeah, he's got pictures of his apartment in here. Where's that one?
Right
we
there.
go. Yeah.
He has lived
But
in
yeah,
upstairs apartments.
yeah. Throughout his adult life, Mr. Burrow has lived in upstairs apartments. While from time to time he is considered buying his own home, he likes not having to be responsible for the maintenance of a residence. He also likes living upstairs because it's quieter, there's a better view, and there's no risk of flooding.
Flooding is a legitimate risk.
Chances are he will spend most of his life in upstairs apartments. And then he goes through the history arc. His first apartment at Cedar Falls, etc.
Moved to Algona and got another efficiency. During the Los Angeles Olympics, he moved to his present home, a large 2-bedroom apartment in a 4-plex.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, buddy.
in the summer of '84.
His life has been very stable while his neighbors have come and gone.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. The building has been home to a pair of drug dealers, several welfare mothers, and a retired couple, one of whom died while they were living.
He's never been especially close to his neighbors, but he has gotten along fine with most of them.
The building has changed ownership
Six
six
ti-
times.
six?
But the
Holy
rent,
shit.
but the rent remains affordable.
And
And he continues to enjoy living there.
Oh my gosh.
State and Dodge in Algona. Here's a
Wow.
current one.
There's the fourplex.
Here's pictures from the mid 1990s and from 2007.
Wow.
And a futon. Got him a futon. He's like Michael Scott.
Oh my God.
Look at the inside of that house. Look at that kitchen. Appliances are now white.
Mr.
Brewer, the harvest gold color.
Holy shit.
Quizmaster Dave. Oh, buddy.
Oh.
But yeah, so like this thing is one of those like the deeper you dig, the sadder it gets. Kind of.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's some other funny ones I think.
Look at that street sign at the top. It
What
said
is
like
that?
Mr. Burrow apartment. No, the very top.
Yes, the very, very top.
David Michael Burrow apartment living.
Is this what state is this? Is
Uh,
that like
Nebraska?
no?
it looks like Montana or something.
Are you sure?
Missouri?
No.
No,
What? Yeah, what the hell state is that?
that's not a state. I don't think that's a state.
North Dakota.
Just
I'm going with North Dakota.
this should be used. Oh,
Oh man.
oh.
Oh god.
Original travel logs.
Yeah, there's some good. Any of these standing out to you? You want to?
Sick-
Oh, he's got a sick Pepsi
Sickness
collection.
and health.
Oh, that's a hilarious one. Where's that one?
Uh,
I can't see it.
Second line up, or yep, and then all the way to the right.
Oh yeah. Throughout most of his life, Mr. Burrow has been a fairly healthy person.
Exit 27B.
Aside from frequent sinus congestion and minor back pain, he rarely complains much about his health. However, he's had some interesting health issues from time to time.
Time out. The name of this website is davidmburrow.com.
Yep.
Why is he writing in the third person? Obviously, this is about him.
Yeah.
Why doesn't it just say I or me?
Because he's
He's
doing
Quizmaster
it.
Dave.
He's doing it the Quizmaster way.
All right. All right. I was just a little grammatically, I was having troubles here. He really I really complain. Yeah.
Who brought this up? Was it Tony?
No, Gerald did.
Oh.
Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate it. Okay. In high school, he broke his wrist and his ankle, both while stupidly playing around. He fell off a railroad boxcar and a stage. He also had his appendix removed in high school and still has a 6-inch abdominal scar from the
Oh man, that's a visual. Tell me he shows it. Oh, that'd be good.
That would be good.
Just
I see
like-
pictures down there.
In his third year of teaching, he was rushed to the emergency room after having symptoms that appeared to be a heart attack. Oh my God, Quizmaster, you would have been like 25.
Yeah.
Who has a heart attack at
Oh, he didn't.
25?
His heart was determined to be fine.
Okay.
Thank God.
He was
What is this, Spurge?
Peritoneal tachycardia. It's just the peritoneum is a fluid-filled sac that goes around the heart,
Okay.
and so it's just he had some inflammation in there that was causing his heart rate to go up.
Mm,
Tachycardia means just high heart rate.
okay.
Fortunately, Simpsons.
His only hospitalization was for ear surgery that was a result of chronic infections that lasted for more than 10 years, starting when he took a swimming class in college.
he can pinpoint the start of his ear infections.
He now has a reconstructed eardrum in his left ear. This causes significant but manageable hearing loss.
Man, maybe I should look into getting
Since
my
quit
eardrum
chewing
reconstructed.
tobacco.
In the mid-90s,
Quitter.
Mr. Burrow has had very few medical problems. In fact, he's seen the doctor only for basic checkups in the past decade. His main ongoing health problem is hypertension, a common problem on his mother's side of the family. With daily medication, his blood pressure is kept under good control, and while his lipid levels are not ideal, they are not abnormal. He's had few other complaints in recent years.
And there's him looking healthy.
Yep, a mostly healthy
Standing by the-
Quizmaster standing by the superintendent's office at Bishop Kerrigan High School.
Oh. Oh, stop. Oh,
Okay.
my goodness.
I do want you to go to the next one at the very bottom. Cars and driving. I just
Okay.
feel like this will be entertaining.
He's going to show all his cars. He's the type of guy that might...
Economy cars. Always economy
Yeah, I
cars.
might name his cars.
Just
That's what I'm looking for.
think of the depth of information here. I mean,
Jim,
all the
read
way
the very
down.
first line on this page.
it's
Has
just,
always driven economy cars. He has never felt the need to have a fancy car, and since he drives a lot, generally 15 to 20,000 miles.
20,000
You
miles.
want to talk about depth of information? Who keeps track of how many miles they drive a
He
year?
appreciates good gas.
Holy, 15 to 20,000 miles a
I
year?
put on about 20.
Is that?
20K
It seems
a year.
huge.
Most average are like 10 to 12.
Okay.
That's your average car person is like 10 to 12.
I used to put on 20 when I lived in Kansas City.
Well, that makes sense. You'd
But-
be probably zipping home quite a bit, but
Home in Iowa City and
yeah.
Denver, everywhere.
Nope, just keep reading the paragraph, Jim, because it gets better.
His father had owned. Oh wait.
Nope,
I'm
keep
sorry.
reading. He appreciates good gas
Yeah,
mileage.
he appreciates
Let's
good
go from
gas mileage. Every car he has ever owned has also had a manual transmission. He has never had a problem running a clutch, and he likes he likes to control a stick shift to forwards, particularly on slippery road surfaces and on hills.
Who likes a clutch on a hill?
I do, but am I going to share that with the interweb? No. Like,
His father had owned a series of Volkswagen Beetles for as long as he could remember. A car he learned to drive on was a white old bug with a questionable safety record.
oh, it was his mother's car,
Technically.
technically.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Oh.
Hold on. I'm trying to scan for a next good one. No car in college. Brother's car. Keeps going. Oh, peach colored 1979 Plymouth Champ.
Damn.
Yeah.
A subcompact
Awesome.
Mitsubishi. Okay.
Drove this to a variety of job interviews, including the one in Wyoming. On the way, he hit an antelope, causing substantial front edge damage.
Oh, Quizmaster, you're killing me.
1984, paid cash.
For a new
Obviously.
Dodge Omni, the worst car ever produced.
I never wanted to start in it. Jesus, this is 30 years ago.
And he's still
auto
bitching about it.
Oh,
Oh,
good pictures. Yeah.
yes,
God.
let's just get to there.
Quizmaster.
Omni.
Yes.
Chevy Metro near Sexton,
The
Iowa.
Colt. Look at the little. Oh my god.
Where are you
Yeah.
looking? Oh, right
The
here.
right is the Colt. The left's the Omni. They
Oh,
all look
Jesus.
the same. I bet.
Quizmaster.
Wonder, think he has a smart car now?
I don't know.
Keep scrolling.
Oh,
That's an Eclipse.
yeah. All right.
Oh, Google satellite view
Showing
showing
his car parked in front of Bishop Kerrigan High School. So that had to be updated.
Yeah, I mean, this is at least 4 years old.
I think his copyright is 2014 at the bottom.
Okay.
Sorry, just talking to the mic.
I think.
2014 at the very bottom.
Oh, the Jeep Wrangler.
An advertisement.
Oh, the one he dreams of driving.
It's an ad.
Oh my God, Quizmaster. All right, I think he's got a Christmas letter
16,
or
there
something
we
on the
go.
homepage. I wanted to say.
I could lose myself.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Howdy. I'm glad you decided to visit my page. Greetings to all my students from Garrigan and Iowa Lakes. Hello to all my family and friends, and a special welcome to everyone else who happens to be checking me out online. Thanks for stopping by.
All right.
Because, there's a lot of random clicks to get to this website.
I'm not sure how I feel about
Is there a, oh, dude, is
Click
there,
for advice on life. I don't know if we can do that. Oh, from
Where-
Mike Stoker on the 70 Show. Whew, I thought it was him.
Okay. Yeah. No thanks. Let's hit up the Christmas letter.
see what he's up to in 2016?
I swear, Kyle and I were on here one time and we read a Christmas letter where he talked about how he shaved his mustache and stuff. Like that what made his Christmas letter. No joke. Yeah. I mean,
deal.
I'm
That's a
kind of
big
a
deal.
frequent flyer, semi-frequent flyer here on the Quizmaster Dave website.
I see why.
So, yeah.
Is there a guest book we can sign?
I don't know.
That would be awesome.
Put a link to the Project I Am
Oh
podcast.
God. Probably get sued.
Probably.
Alrighty. I wonder if I can zoom in a little bit.
Absolutely.
Oh God, look at that first one.
I don't know.
Well,
You
the
see-
festive font has snowflakes in it. That's not
Oh.
really appropriate for this season.
33 years ago, I sent out the first of these Christmas letters, continuing a tradition my mother started decades earlier. Okay, I'm still working at the same job at Bishop Garrigan. Ups and downs, mostly good. You know,
Oh, he's a
Master.
department
Job
head now.
change affair. Yeah. Mostly due to the retirement of the longtime head of the math department. He's now the department head.
nice.
Oh. At the bottom, he's a football announcer.
Ooh, dude, we should go to a
We
Bishop
should.
Garrigan game. Yeah.
Oh,
should.
Yeah. Seek him out.
Find the Quizmaster. Okay, the superintendent died. Tough sledding.
Lord, how much does this man write?
But that's the. I mean, like the.
Hold on, go up. I saw something about an election note.
Uh-oh.
Of course, this was an election year. Let's see here.
Though I can't say I cared much for most of the candidates. I tried to ignore most of the campaign, but living in a swing state, that was pretty much impossible. As was true of a lot of Americans, my vote in the general election was reluctant at best. Unfortunately, out of the dozens of candidates who began the race, the one I liked the least ended up being the one who won. It really bothers me that our president-elect seems to unashamedly lie almost constantly and that he can't seem to go a day without making snide comments on social media. You know, Quizmaster. It also appalls me that his campaign seems to have made racism and intolerance fashionable and that he has not been willing to put a stop to it. I only pray that he realizes that the president needs to be a leader and a role model that modifies his behavior accordingly. Okay.
Then he goes,
Not a Trump fan.
Then he goes talking about gas prices.
What the
being
heck?
at
On a
near
much
low.
happier note, I managed to explore with gas prices near all-time lows. What? Okay.
In 2016, I just like to point out this man's been driving fuel-efficient cars for 33 years per his blog.
He's never put more than $20 in a car.
Like,
suppose not,
I don't
yeah.
understand how 2016 is an all-time low for gas. That is
Yeah,
not
dude.
all-time.
I don't
That's
remember
like
that.
decade low, maybe. Not an all-time low.
No.
I guess I don't remember. But I mean, here's the thing: like, there's no substance to that. I mean, he's talking about his superintendent died in his Christmas letter, and
Yeah.
Price
of gas. Throw in a little politics for good measure.
Oh my God!
Which reminds me about how I wrote my college essays.
The quiz.
Dump had a really good one today.
Just
What?
Trump had a good.
Oh, Trump. I did. Okay.
oh yeah, I could get lost in this webpage. There's no
yeah,
doubt about it.
davidmburrow.com. Oh, this is a good one. He's got his like web TV thing on here. He's not a big fan of computers.
I believe I read earlier that he is now in charge of teaching web design.
He got his first smartphone at Christmas 2015. He likes the idea of a smartphone, but he's not a fan of the touchscreen interface, particularly the absurdly small virtual keyboard found on a smartphone.
We got ourselves a T9 fan, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. First subscriber to Web TV.
Yeah. Learned how to do basic programming. Nice.
Can't go wrong with that.
He prefers words like explore to the ubiquitous surf to describe his usage of the internet.
Dislike sites that are graphic intensive, clearly.
Clearly.
Clearly,
Clearly, margins never made his list either.
especially those made from unnecessary use of Flash.
Or other rich media formats. I mean,
They take forever to load on his 26.8.
right, his 28.8K
Yeah.
dial-up modem takes forever to load Flash. That's why.
Don't be hating on the Quizmaster.
I'm not. Do you see that mustache?
Look at that web TV setup right there.
Oh,
What?
man.
I'm not sure how to respond to that. I'm really not.
Look at that.
I know.
Questions answered 41. Amazing.
Is this
Ever
an
thought about
ad
going
thing, or-
pro?
On Smarty
They're in
Pins.
diamond status on Smarty Pins multiple times.
I'm not sure what Smarty Pins is, but
Well, when he's exploring the
Right.
interweb,
right.
he
Oh, Google Maps Smarty Pins. Click that. I want to see if we can play this game. Blast Blue Highlight.
Oh, right here.
Yes. Does this still exist? Yes, it does.
Okay.
All right, this is the Trivia Master
Start a new game.
Quizmaster giving us a
Go.
before you run out of miles. Okay.
The hell are we doing here?
I don't know.
The Egyptian city that gives its name to this wealthy DC suburb was named for famous Macedonian conqueror. I don't know.
Gaza?
Cairo, maybe?
Yeah. How do you
Drop the pin on the correct location.
So
run it to DC suburbs?
So I assume we have to zoom in there.
yeah, I don't know if the map will work though.
DC's Alexandria. Alexandria the Great.
Yep.
Yeah, I bet that's where'd my pin thing go?
It's over in the ocean.
Oh, it is?
Oh, hit reset pin.
Icky.
Drag him, Alexandria.
Oh, down below. Yep, there you go.
We get it right?
I don't know. Submit. Scroll down. Submit answer.
Okay. This is easy with a touchpad. Nailed it.
Whew.
Well, you know he doesn't have a touchpad. This man loves mouses.
Oh yeah.
Mice.
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 Mises.
Mises. Arts and culture. Some people liken the large outdoor mirrored sculpture to a bean. That would be
Chicago.
Chicago.
Okay.
It puts you right there.
Yeah. You're like in the ballpark every time.
Some.
Close.
Ah, because we
4
didn't zoom
miles.
in enough.
Whatever. Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Oh, so you're
So you go
Yeah.
until you don't have.
1,000 miles? So how long does a game take?
He said he gets 41 before it ends.
Okay.
It seems cheating that it gives you. It
Yeah.
starts in the right country.
Yeah, I mean, it should be like, you're on the moon to start
Yeah.
with, and then you got to zoom in.
I don't know about this, Quizmaster Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not too keen on this game,
No.
Quizmaster Dave.
But-
yeah.
Interesting concept.
Yeah.
Did not know this existed. So
Mhm.
He likes to travel, but not anywhere he can't take his efficiency car.
right.
So he's stuck in the lower 48,
Yep.
Canada and Central America, probably
Right.
at the most. Huh.
He does. I don't know. He doesn't seem like an international traveler to
No.
me.
No. I don't think
Where
so.
do you think he stays when he's on the road?
Super 8s. Guaranteed.
Yeah, right off the interstate.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Probably. Yeah, I bet
it's
he's
not the Hilton. It's got to be Super 8s.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
a
Motel
like a
6.
roadside motel
Motel.
type place. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Huh.
for sure.
Right on.
That just,
I remember I went to a Algona tournament for Quiz Bowl in high school one time, and we were laughing about Quizmaster because he had this thing where he would tell a joke or whatever, and he kind of had a nervous he'd go like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was doing it, kind of making fun of him in the hallway, and he was like right behind me or something, of course. And Mr. Finley got super pissed at me, like, "Oh, if you're gonna make fun of somebody, wait till further
Wait
away."
till-
I'm like,
wait
"Well,
till
whatever,
they're not
Finley.
there."
I don't care."
Do it behind their back at least.
Yeah, he's like, be a little bit more,
Finley,
have some couth.
I saw him the other day. I guess they got a good team this year.
Okay,
He said they
good,
won Spirit Lake.
nice.
I didn't bring up the time we went to Houston and ordered a block of porn.
Ooh,
And we were seniors, so we were done. It
We didn't
happened in the
care.
summer, and Taylor wanted to see porn, and so we're
We
like,
didn't care.
"All right, let's order some porn. We'll pay cash, and it'll never go on the room bill."
We even verified with the front
We
desk.
verified with the front desk, and that's not what happens.
It's not even close to what
And-
happened.
And so they took our money and then put it on the charge to the school, and so Craig and Zach, who were the juniors at the time, went back to school in the fall, and Finley came up to him and asked about it, and they pinned it on Craig. Craig took the fall for the porno.
okay.
Funny because he ended up coming out as gay.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was all this.
It's
It was.
Tay's fault.
It was my fault.
He wanted to see porno, and he hadn't seen porno, and he wanted to see some porn, and so we bought some porn.
Right. As a bunch of.
Was it like hardcore or was it?
It was like Hustler TV. Like
Right.
you got like 4 hours of
Right.
Hustler TV for
Nice.
$9.99
Right.
or whatever.
Not one
Anyone
of my
who
shining
needs
moments.
a block of porn, I've never understood that.
Right. Right. I would agree.
Get in, get out. I mean, we weren't
Yeah.
getting in and get out. We were dudes, 4 dudes hanging out in a,
In a
Yeah.
hotel
in a
room.
hotel room watching Hustler TV.
Well, you do what you got to do, I guess,
Yeah.
huh?
It was interesting, to say the least.
Yes.
Well, maybe on that
I think
note,
that was the first and last Quiz Bowl trip I went on.
we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I think I bought the new Kingdom Hearts 3.
Ding, ding. Signing off, everybody.
Peace.